Welcome back. Today we've got Geelong's review, reviewing a game against Port Adelaide in round 21. Um, Pretty close game, back and forth. So let's get into it. Okay, looking at the stats for the Cats, I was a bit surprised at how good they were, to be honest, based on where they finished on the ladder. So diving deeper, I sort of had a look into it, and they really beat up on a lot of teams, and they didn't lose by a lot. So 5 of their 10 wins were by above 47 points, and 8 out of the 12 losses were below 24. So when they won big, and when they lost, a lot of the time was close. So their stats look pretty good, to be honest. So the ways to beat them, we need frontal pressure and to play in front. They've got the number 1 marks per inside 50 rate when you're kicking at Cameron and Hawkins, probably a good chance. Marks on lead, they like to create a lot of space, so there's plenty of space for players to lead into, so they get a lot of marks there. And they're very efficient when they go inside forward 50. You'll see on the next slide, it was a big key point in this game. And their one-on-one offensive wins are the best in the league, so you need a lot of help defense there. We've got to win the ball from the clearance and lock it inside forward 50. Their clearance differential is 16th, probably not surprising given their lack of experience in the midfield. Tom Stewart is rumoured to go in there, so could help a little bit. Their rebound 50 rate is pretty low, not too bad considering, and then they concede a lot of inside 50s, 17th in opposition inside 50s. And then run defensively hard. And you can see that they've also got the most amount of inside 50s. So they play a very open brand of footy. You can transition very quickly against them or for them. So you've got to be able to run defensively. They like to kick the ball long. Their meters gained per disposal is 5th in the league. And they're also pretty set up well to get intercept marks. So as soon as they turn it over, they're going to go from that intercept mark. That's why you need to run hard defensively against them. When Geelong are at their best, they're keeping space up the ground, and they're leading and kicking into that space. It allows them to play on from marks and turn and go and hit leading targets. So it makes them very efficient going inside forward 50, and that's one of the stats we're looking at here, their efficiency inside forward 50. We've got goals per inside forward 50 percentage. Then we've got the margin of the games in the yellow, and then another one we'll look at is the clearance differential. But as you can see, their best quarter 1, they were kicking goals 50% of the time they went inside forward 50, very efficient. Their worst one, I think that was 8% of the time they went inside forward 50, they kicked a goal, and they lost that quarter by a lot. It also coincided with the clearance differential being very low. It is the same result as the quarter 2 one, but it was looking a lot worse until Geelong made a sub about halfway through the quarter to bring Parfitt on to combat that clearance differential. So he helped even it out, but by then the damage was done in that quarter. Alright, so we're talking about Geelong keeping space up the ground. This is their forward line and a stoppage on the wing here. We've got one Geelong forward inside the forward 50. They push their forwards up to create space for Jeremy Cameron, and their ground is quite narrow and long, so Cameron can play quite deep and give himself a lot of space to lead up into. If we play it here, they get a nice hit out to the far side of the wing, and you can see here it's just easy marks for Jeremy Cameron on the lead. They've got a replay here that shows a perfect angle of the space that was created by pushing those numbers up to the contest. So you look at all this space here, easy lead for Jeremy Cameron to take that mark. Okay, this is a pretty similar stoppage, bit closer to goal. Same sort of setup for Geelong. They push their numbers to the contest, man on man behind the ball. But the difference with this one is the Port Adelaide defender dropping off. They've noticed that they're getting a lot of marks inside forward 50 on the lead, and this is in the third quarter. And if we go back to that stat at the start. They only had 8% of their inside 50s result in goals. It could be because they weren't getting many marks on the lead because of these spare defenders. We just roll it through. They actually switched there, and so they're sitting sort of 20 metres in front of that leading target to defend them. Okay, so this should be a quick one, just a kick-in offence for Geelong. Just wanted to notice their setup. There's not a single player in their forward 50, and Geelong's a really long ground, so their goal is to win a stoppage here and sprint down and kick it out the back. As you can see, it goes to a contest over here where all the numbers are. If they win the footy, all these players are going to go straight towards goal. You can see the Port Adelaide defender there was already going back very smartly in case something like that happened. Okay, so we've got a back flank stoppage. We've got Port Adelaide's defender back here. They've realised that Geelong want to get out the back, so they adjusted by putting a spare man, a nude defender out here to stop the fast breaks. Results in Geelong spares here and here, while Port have a spare out here. Radigalia is going to try and impact this contest by floating off their man. But Geelong want to stop the ball going directly here. They want to force it more boundary to where that spare was. As you can see, that's where it goes. Forces a tough kick from Horn Francis and easy to chop off by Radigalia. So the next two slides are going to focus a bit on Geelong's defence when the opposition is kicking the ball. So we'll start off here. They don't want to allow any short 45 kicks. They want it to go into the pocket because it's hard to get out of there, but once it comes here, they've got a bit of a diamond set up whenever someone takes a mark. See, we get the man on the mark there, and then we got the diamond here. They want to stop those short kicks. They want to force a long one. Beautifully cut up by Butters there, though. That's sort of how you have to play against them. You really have to take the game on and cut them open. Okay, so we've got Geelong's defence again, but this is late game. You can see it's an 11-point game, 1:30 left. The difference here is Geelong isn't playing in the diamond. They've got numbers back this time. Allows Tom Stewart to zone off, allows them to protect the corridor. So they force them wide, and then want to force them to rush and kick it long to where Tom Stewart's reading this play. He's standing in between the goals and the ball, and he's able to move and chop off things like that. Which is how they play the defence when there's a minute left. Okay, so we've got Geelong forward 50 stoppage here. In terms of their defence down the line, they're playing man on man. We've seen this set up from Port Adelaide before. What you want to do is own the outside, which they do, to stop them leading to the boundary and being in front for long kicks. Port have spares where you'd like to hit the ball, so Geelong is probably going to try and hit it out here to where their spares are because these guys aren't moving anywhere. Just roll through it. As you can see, that's exactly where Stanley tries to hit it, until he doesn't really get there in time and it goes out. Okay, so we've got a centre bounce, 2.5 minutes to go. Geelong is up by 11 points. We're in Geelong's forward line here. These 5 forwards are ready to push up should there be a second stoppage and really create some congestion and make it hard to move. It also works out well for Geelong if they win the footy because they like to keep a lot of space for their forwards to lead into. The wingers haven't dropped back, which surprises me a bit, and of course man on man around the ground for the rest of it. Their goal is to get a repeat stoppage here, so they'll be trying to tackle real hard. They'll play man on man. Danger gets a little bit lost, which allows Butters to get out. Doesn't get a clean pickup though. And we'll see here that Horn Francis gives away a free kick, and he gives away a 50, which really ices the game for Geelong in that situation. A bit dumb there.